base, and in between that base you can adjust culturally as well as socially very comfortably, and you are paid well also, and you can relate to that country very comfortably. Plus you can make a very easy move to Canada. So take a two-pronged approach when you are trying to decide in between different countries, which country to apply for. If you are qualified for more than one country, then start with the country where you can get the visa the fastest possible way, and after going there and starting to earning, also simultaneously apply for a residence visa for another country. Have it as a backup, so that should there be a problem in your non-immigrant status in a country like UK Tier 1, you can then make a move to another country and continue to enjoy that quality of life that you already used to while working in a country like UK, or for that matter even in case of Denmark. Decide which country to migrate to. Let's start with one very basic understanding of difference between an immigrant and a non-immigrant visa. You see, countries like Canada and Australia offer you what's called a permanent residence status from day one of landing. And this is especially true for skilled migrants, professional skilled migrants who are applying for immigration or permanent resident visa to these countries. Now, when you're getting a permanent residence visa, you are getting all the rights of a citizen, practically speaking, almost all rights from day one of landing, except for the passport of the relevant country and right to vote, which means that you get medical facilities, you get educational facilities for children, you get entitled to all the social security benefits, majority of them, if not immediately, within a few months, more or less, as a resident, you can live, stay and work and do anything in any part of the country, whether it's Australia or Canada. Now, these countries offer you what's called a permanent residence visa from day one. You get an immigrant status from day one. When you talk of, and that's also true in a way for New Zealand, but when you talk of countries like UK or Denmark, and many other options that are open in European countries, well, what they are offering you is essentially a non-immigrant status, more popularly known as a UK Tier 1 visa or a Denmark green card visa. Well, they are mostly giving you the right to live and work for a limited period, for the period for which the visa is issued. A typical visa is issued for a Tier 1 visa, for example, could be issued for 2 or 3 years. Now, after those 2 or 3 years are over, you need an extension for another 2 or 3 years, and up to a maximum of 5 years it goes on extension. And after 5 years, what you apply for is indefinite leave to remain, which essentially is a permanent resident status that you apply for. Now, in case of UK Tier 1 and Denmark green card, the status that you're getting almost after 5 years, in year 6, and the related benefits that you get in almost like year 6, these are the benefits that you are getting from day one of landing in countries like Canada and Australia. Now, that's huge benefit, and in countries like Canada and Australia. And so, are you prepared, really speaking, to go for a non-immigrant status when you are entitled to an immigrant status from day one? That's a question that you may need to ask yourself. What we normally recommend to our clients is, because all said and done, UK countries especially like UK is a very popular destination, especially among IT and finance professionals, and there is nothing wrong really to look at UK as a destination, but let it be a destination that you're choosing initially. Because what happens if you don't get extension after 2 years? What are you going to do? Because you don't have a right to stay permanently against the initial Tier 1 visa that you're getting. So this is what you do. Because I'm often told by IT and finance professionals that in UK the advantage we have is number one, we get the job very fast, and number two, we are paid very well also. Very good. And also, not to forget that in UK you can get Tier 1 visa in as early as a decision within a month's time. So So you combine all these three things: good employment options, good pay, and almost within a month visa approval, and you have an excellent mix of the reason why one should be applying for a UK Tier 1. What we suggest to our clients is that yes, proceed ahead for UK Tier 1 and apply for it. But don't forget that once you start living in UK, you are getting used to a certain quality of life of staying in a developed country. Good housing, heating, good maybe the peer group, good pay, everything what one relates to with quality of life. So those issues of life, you are getting used to them. So what you do is this: you take that status, but in the meantime you simultaneously also apply for a Canadian or Australian PR. Now if you are applying simultaneously for a Canadian and Australian PR, you are qualifying for one, it makes lots and lots of sense for you to have a kind of a backup. So if after 2 to 3 years time you do not get extension of your Tier 1 visa, at least you have a permanent resident visa of another developed economy, a developed country, where you can go and settle down and make that place your home. So you take a two-pronged approach. Take Tier 1 if you want, go and start working there, start gaining international experience, start earning, making good foreign exchange, start saving it. In the meantime, as a backup, you take a Canadian residency also, and keep it as a backup just in case something goes with your UK Tier 1 extension after 2 or 3 years, depending on your visa validity, are over. And actually speaking, do not confuse UK Tier 1 process with Denmark green card at all, because Denmark green card should normally be it's almost has the same features as UK Tier 1, but it's also a non-immigrant visa. Now when it's a non-immigrant visa, the difficulty in case of Denmark green card is, really speaking, that it's highly unlikely that you will do well in Denmark unless you do not know Danish as a language. So what are you going to do? You don't know Danish, how are you going to do well in the even in your career? So take a decision to Denmark green card with after careful thought and after careful decision. And in between the non-immigrant visas, if you are qualified for both UK and Denmark, our strong advice is go for Tier 1, because the country has a huge Indian base, a huge Asian base, and in between that base you can adjust culturally as well as socially very comfortably, and you are paid well also, and you can relate to that country very, very comfortably. Plus you can make a very easy move to Canada. So take a two-pronged approach when you are trying to decide in between different countries which country to apply for. If you are qualified for more than one country, then go start with the country where you can get the visa the fastest possible way, and after going there and starting to earning, also simultaneously apply for a residence visa for another country. Have it as a backup, so that should there be a problem in your non-immigrant status in a country like UK Tier 1, you can then make a move to another country and continue to enjoy that quality of life that you already used to while working in a country like UK, for that matter, even in case of Denmark.